Good morning.
How much of a boost was it to get that first win in the League Cup, and how can you take that on now at Bradford?
Yeah, I find out that it was the first time I think we won at Luton as a football club. So for me, it was a really good performance once we got through the first 20 minutes of the game, where I think Carl said in the press afterwards we had to settle into it and get through that period, which really pleased me actually, because it showed our robustness. I think there was a lot made around that Luton made 8 changes to their starting 11 from the previous Saturday or whatever it was, and we made 8 changes to our 11 as well, and it shows how strong the squad is. But taking that forward, I've been pleased with our performances. You know, Sutton, we should have won the game. No doubt we should have won the game at Walsall, and I've never lost to a team in my whole time in senior football where the opposition never had a shot on target. So I'm pleased with where we're going to at the minute. I am pleased.
Yeah, so the league wins will come if you keep playing the way you do, you mean?
I have no doubt about it. I trust this group. I trust what we're doing. And I'm really, really pleased with how they're going about their business with their day-to-day work. I couldn't be prouder of what they're trying to do every day.
And you got goals, didn't you, on Tuesday, which clearly is a big thing now.
Yeah, well, you look at the lads who got the goals at the minute. There's the 4 strikers we got, 3 of them have got goals, and then James Waite has got his goal. I'm pleased for them. But like I said, it doesn't matter where the goals come from. It's just I look at a front day at the minute and how hard he's working for the team, and he gets those lads of goals as well. And I keep reminding him of that, is that his work ethic and his way about going things is just tremendous. And I can't speak well of Oz. Can't speak well enough of him, sorry.
Omar Bogle, you've brought him in, and is he a better player now than when you had him at Cardiff?
I think so. He's matured. He still wants to play at the highest level possible. We've had to manage him leading up to the Walsall game because he was carrying a slight hamstring injury, which we didn't make a big fuss about. But he didn't train for a lot of that week, so we had to manage him a little bit. So we have to be mindful of that with Omar, because he missed that first week of pre-season with us, which you can see the benefit to the squad that they've had the pre-season with us. You can see how well they've started. But with Omar, I've got no doubt that we can still improve him, like with every player. That's our job ultimately. That's my job. That's the staff's job, is to improve the individual, and that's what we pride ourselves on here.
Have you set him a goal target that you want off him?
No, Omar sets his own target. Don't worry about that. Omar's very strong-minded.
Yeah, is that good?
Yeah, I think so. I have no problem with that.
And I said the goals came on Tuesday. You are creating chances, so they should be there for the taking, shouldn't they?
Yeah, when you look at it, when we played Sutton, we've had 15 shots at goal, 17 shots at goal, which doesn't happen at Sutton. Not many opposition teams will get 17 shots at goal. Then we play Walsall, we have 15 shots there too, bearing in mind only 1 on target because of the amount of blocks that teams got off against us. So we have to be mindful of that, where we've had a lot of shots in those 2 league games. Then I compare it then to Luton, we have 8 shots and score 3. With the expected goals really high. So if we keep following what we're trying to do, what we're trying to achieve, I have no doubt that we'll keep building upon it and the results will follow. It's a case of this is a brand new team. It's a brand new team, you know, and we have to be mindful of that sometimes. But it's the same for a lot of other teams as well. So that's not making excuses along the way. But I have no doubt with what we're trying to achieve, we'll get the results that we deserve eventually.
You brought in another new recruit this week. Tell us about him.
Nathan, energetic, so dynamic, great young man. Really pleased to have him on board. Just adds another bit of competition to places in the team, which is what we've got. So we've got everybody fully fit right now. Every member of our squad is fully fit. So that's a sign of where we're at as a group. So that's really, really pleasing.
Have you had that before? I don't suppose you have you?
No. No. So that's where I am pleased with the program and the staff that have put the work in behind the scenes that people don't see. There's a lot of work that goes on to try and prepare this team to be the best they can be, and it's not just about the immediate staff, it's the staff that surround the first team as well, that everybody has a direct impact some way, somehow, to the starting 11, but also to the 22-man squad that we've got, plus the development lads. So we've got everybody fully fit, which is really, really pleasing.
Is that your last recruit before the end of the window, do you think?
I don't know, because if I'm being straight, we had two loans lined up as number 10s from Premier League, but they're both now injured and out for a period of time. So that's disappointing, but there's nothing we can do about that. But like I've said, I'm not just going to sign players for the sake of signing them. They've got to come and have a direct impact on the team and contribute to what we're trying to achieve. So I won't then get to deadline day and for the sake of it, just bring somebody in. I'm not going to do that because I've got a duty of care to the football club as well to make sure we bring in the right personnel, but also a duty of care to our squad that the person that we bring in is going to be able to contribute to us what we're trying to achieve. So in the ideal world, we look at one more, but if that doesn't happen, that doesn't happen, because we got to have the right person coming in. Right.
Couple more. Portsmouth, slightly disappointed though.
No, not really, because I think they're such a huge club. I have a lot of respect for Danny Cowley for what he's done as well. So it's another good test for us against another good manager in a higher division. So no, I'm not disappointed with the draw. It's I remember Portsmouth. When I used to go and watch training when Tony was manager there, and I can remember going there. I remember watching them in the Premier League, and so it's a great draw for us in many ways. It's a home draw, and it's a chance for us to rotate our squad round again, which is really important.
I'll throw this in. You've got a good record against them. You beat them in 2017 in the League Cup.
Was that at Cardiff?
Yes.
Yeah, I said to you the other day, I don't think my wife said to me, she said, "You never won a game in the Carabao Cup, James." I went, "Have I?" And I think I said it to Chris the other day as well. But there you go, we have. So was that under Russ? Or was that under,
it was 2017? Yeah, it might have been. I was just bored on the train coming home last night, so I checked.
Yeah, I got that wrong then. I didn't think I won a game of Carabao Cup. Oh, there you go then.
That's okay.
I did, but I didn't win. Technically, it was the team.
But good vibe to take into the game.
Exactly.
It's 30 years since the Cymru Prem started, and it's the anniversary of their first game tonight. I've got to ask you. You've got 3 players now from the Cymru Prem, Will and Priestley and James Wade. Do you clearly believe that there's talent to be untapped in that league, and does it show the progress the league has made? Yeah, I think so. And I think that you look at it, Sam Bowen played a couple of games for Barry as well when he was on loan from Cardiff. In the Welsh Prem, and we've put 2 of our young developing players, Joe Woodowist and Lewis Twamley, to Pontypridd, because they got a really good setup and a really good vision with Steve Savage there. So we believe in senior football really, and in the highest possible level for these young players. And there's players every tap, but you've got to know which players are most coachable to be able to develop for what we're trying to achieve. And I think we've done particularly well out of the Welsh Prem, and that's testament to the work that the FAW do, and they strive forward to make it the best that it can possibly be. Are you surprised that more clubs aren't looking, or are you happy to go to that well by yourself? I'll go to that well on our own. I'll let Darren keep going to that well, so that's fine. But clearly, it could be a fertile ground for you. I think providing they come off these players. Yeah, 100%. And we've got to keep looking at, and it's not just in the Welsh Prem. There's the Conference North, Conference South, divisions below that. There's players that are playing and getting released at Cat 1 clubs that we look at. So we try to spread our net as wide as we can, which the work that Darren does.
So we'll continue to do that with what we do.
James, all the best tomorrow.
Thanks, mate. See you soon.
Thanks.
Morning, James.
Morning, Chris. You all right?
Yeah, all good, all good. Nathan, I presume he trained with his new teammates for the first time yesterday.
He trained yesterday, so he settled in really nicely already.
But bearing in mind, are we likely to see him this weekend, or is it a case of slowly introducing him?
There's two things to it. Slowly introduce him, but we're also waiting on international clearance. So that's something that we've got to wait on. So that'll be touch and go on that side of it anyway. But also we've got to integrate him slowly, and also the squad's doing really well as well. So I made it quite clear, and Nathan, you can see that in his interview, that nothing's given here, it's always earned. So he knows that, and that was one of the reasons why when I met with him, that when we met on Zoom, I really admired him in that way, where he's not taking things for granted, because we wouldn't have anybody at his football club that takes things for granted. And if they do, then we take that chip off their shoulder quite quickly.
You mentioned him earlier, and he's another midfielder. Sam Bowen, he's sort of great, settling in now. He's going to be the heartbeat of the side, isn't he? Naturally, but we saw that with the ball through to Chanka, and he's starting to just get ticking, isn't he?
Yeah, and it's really pleasing, because I've known Sam since he was about 8, but then started working when he was about 12. And he has got so much ability. It's us trying to get the best out of him. And sometimes we'll have to take him out of the team to put him back in the team, because we have to manage him as well. And also we've got some other really good players in midfield as well, with Robbie, with Scott, with now Nathan, with Aaron, with James. So it's kind of an evolving situation all the time, where we've got a really good squad, I think, to be able to rotate that round, to give people the breathing space sometimes. And that would be the only time Sam's played 3 consecutive. What have you cut out? Have you got me?
I'm all right. Yeah. I don't know if it was me or you. I'm not sure.
Yeah, you got me?
Yeah.
I think it was me. I think that's the first time that Sam's played 3 games of senior football in a row. So we have to be mindful of that as well. But I'm really trying to show his ability.
And I guess that's where this is the first time where, with Salford coming up on Tuesday, it's the first time you've got to start thinking about, isn't it, where you maybe changing things up, I guess.
Yeah, it's like Carl said to me the other day, we're on about squad rotation, and that we have to be mindful and we have to do it. And you know, Jack Grealish gets rotated. It was a £100 million player in a Man City team, so they play 50 odd games a year. No, well, I'm not equating any of our lads to Jack Grealish whatsoever, but what I'm saying is the principle of rotating players and using players, it's about the squad game, and I've got to stick to that principle that we believe in, because we showed on Tuesday night that the players can. We've got, I think you said it as well, Chris, we've got a player for every 2 players for every position, which is brilliant really for a manager. It's not a headache for me. That is, I'm delighted.
You're not going to say you're reading the Argus, by the way. You're going to say I don't read the press, but
I only read your good ones, Chris. I don't read your that's all.
Too much. You seem to be getting the balance, though. I know it's early days, but between that playing through the midfield as you like to do, but also the long threat with Oz, as he showed once again at the end, it's sort of that earning the right to play through the middle almost. It's you're getting the balance nicely.
Yeah, and we're starting to get the ingredients that we wanted to work with, and that's the thing that we've got now, where sometimes as a coach and manager, you've got to utilize the players at your disposal. So last year we had different players. We didn't have an Oz or an Omar to really. I don't think we did anyway, because in what we've got. So having that type of centre forward who can run in behind, who can link, who can score goals, who can do everything. Now we've got, where last year we had 3 really good number 10s, so we had to play through lines because of the personnel we got. Now we've got 2 really good number 10s with Aaron and James, and then we've got 4 really good strikers. We can do both elements of the game, and I think that's really important. And why we recruited like we did was to be able to give both dimensions, not just one. So that was the recruitment process we looked at. We wanted to be able to
go behind and penetrate, or we want to go and find players in pockets and turn and go and play forward. So we've got both elements of it now, I believe. It's just trying to get the results that we feel as we deserve, and we can't get carried away with the results when we do get it, because it's the old adage, you can't take the highs too high and the lows too low. So it's my job to try and stay consistent, if you like, to get us the results that we deserve.
And you mentioned robustness. You'll need to be robust against Andy Cook. What do you make of Bradford? He's obviously a key man.
Yeah. So they're building a lot more than what they did last year. So they progressed in the style that they have. It's a case of us doing what we've done over the last period of games. For me, it's just, you look at the amount we've had on goal, making sure we defend key moments of the game. And I keep saying to lads about being brilliant at the basics. And that's one thing we've got to do. We've got to go to Bradford and be brilliant at our basics. And that's something that we've got to strive forward and do tomorrow.
And the crowd factor, they had nearly 20,000 for the first game.
I know.
It's
brilliant.
Exciting
Brilliant.
By that. So.
Yeah, I think so. And I think there's no pressure on our lads with it. There's more pressure on the opposition, because there's an expectation at Bradford to be able to go and do well. That's the pressure they'll have, and we've got to make sure that we try and work our game plan to be able to get the best possible result for us.
Good stuff. And luckily we're in the shade, so we'll be all right with our heads. So we'll
yeah,
survive.
You'll be fine. I need
side.
to make sure I get some back to 50 on.
All good. See you up there. Good stuff.
Cheers. See you there. Cheers, mate.
You've made Chris's morning now. He's found the Argus reader.
Yeah, it's just me.
Yeah, blimey.
And my dad, I think.
Really? Oh, there's two? Or do you pass it on?
It's two.
I just wonder, James, was Mark Hughes one of your heroes growing up?
Can't say he was one of my heroes, no. I think mine was Gary Speed.
Right.
Mine was Gary Speed. I used to love Gary Speed, so yeah.
Well, tell him that after the game rather than before.
Okay.
They sometimes tell, you say that sides play in the mode of their manager. And if they do that, then they won't be a bad team, will they?
Yeah, no, they'll be a good team. They're a good team. They've got a really strong fan base, which allows them to attract experienced players. But we focus on ourselves all the time, like we always do, and concentrate on our principles, and that's what we'll continue to do, and focus on what Newport County can do, but pay respect to the opposition as we always do as well.
Yeah. How different is it coming out of a cup game going into a league game? I mean, this is real business now, as opposed to a bit of fun, I guess, in the midweek.
No, I said to lads, every competition we go into, we want to try and win every game that we go into. So that's a mindset that we've got. So whether it was a League Cup game, or whether it's the Papa John's Cup, FA Cup, League, it doesn't matter. Every game we're trying to win. So we've got that mentality. It's not just, we can relax a little bit. No, we're working to try and win every game.
Yeah, and as pleasant a task as it is, having so many people to consider for selection, you must have a sort of league team in mind.
A league team?
Yeah.
No, I just no, because I made it quite clear about the rotation of the squad. Is the reason why we brought the personnel that we've got is to be able to have almost two players in every position. So we have to be utilising that when needed and when it's right, and you pick teams to win certain games. And that's my job as a manager, to recognise when to pick a certain team to win a certain game. So I don't see it as a league squad, a cup squad. I don't see it that way.
Okay. And do you pick, when you say you pick a team to win a game, do you pick that team based on the opposition, or do you pick it based on your best assets?
Depends, really. Depends on the physical load of the players. They're carrying injuries. Does someone need a rest? Is someone having a tough time in different areas of their life? So you have to bear in mind everything. So it's a whole holistic approach to things. It's never just one.
Yeah, it's the start of a big long season. But as you said, having fit players is the key thing.
Yes, yeah, and we got to do that, but fit players who can perform at the levels that we need them to, and that's important.
Great. Okay. Well, as I said, tell Mark Hughes afterwards that he wasn't your pin-up boy, and we'll see how we get on. Thanks, Phil.
Cheers, Bob.
Morning, James.
Hello, Luke.
Hello. You said with obviously everyone having a clean bill of health, that means James Clark returns. How pleased you to have him back?
James is available. So I'm delighted to have every player back. So it doesn't matter whether it's James Clark, James Waite. Doesn't matter. It's kind of, I'm happy to have everybody available. So yeah, I'm really pleased.
Made 8 changes on Tuesday and still managed to beat the championship side. That shows that we have great strength and depth this season, doesn't it?
Correct, and that shows the recruitment, the due diligence that we went into to be able to do that. But it's only one game. We've got a long old season, so we need to make sure that we continue our standards and our levels to be able to perform the best we can.
How pleased were you also on Tuesday night to see Priestley Farquharson return for the club?
Brilliant. That's the first time he started for me, I believe. Rob will probably tell me I'm wrong because he's got me one stat wrong already. But I was delighted. I think everybody's delighted for him because Priestley's such a good kid. He's brilliant. I love having him around the place. And for him to get that 52 minutes under his belt is a good start. And we got to keep building on that for him. But we have to maintain, we have to manage Priestley's load. So that's one thing we have to do. So for Priestley to go and play 50 games this year is going to be a big ask, but we'll try and get as many as we can into him.
Thank you.